How's it going, everybody? Welcome to We Do Tech. Now for today's review we are going to take a look at the Cougar Minos X3, and just that name sounds incredibly evil. I do like it. But just a big thanks to Cougar South Africa for sending over the X3 for this review. Without them this video would not be possible, so a big shout out to them. So with all of that being said, let's get into the review for the Minos X3 right after this. Do you live in South Africa and want to get yourself some awesome new gaming products? Well, go check out RebelTech. They have extremely low prices and they stock all the major brands like ASUS, MSI, Gigabyte, Corsair and many more. So go check out rebeltech.co.za to go get the products you are looking for at a low price. Starting off, the X3 is retailing for around 350 Rand on RebelTech here in South Africa, or $25 on Amazon. Taking a look at the design of the X3, you get a body entirely made out of plastic, with the top cover having more of a grey space matte finish, with the rest of the mouse being black. The X3 does have an ambidextrous shape, which makes it perfect for left or right-handed users. Then a feature that I personally really like that Cougar has started adding to some of their gaming mice is the inclusion of RGB underglow on the bottom side of the X3. We also saw this on their Deathfire EX that we reviewed a while back, where the lighting was on the side of the keyboard and then also underneath the mouse, which looked really awesome. Along with the underglow, you also get the backlight of the Cougar logo on the palm rest. Moving to the left side, you get the curved textured padding that will help add grip and also gives your thumb a comfortable place to rest. Just above the grip you get two thumb buttons that are nicely positioned for quick and easy access. These buttons do feel a bit more on the cheaper plastic side, but either way they do feel very snappy and nice overall. The thumb buttons are however fixed to the pre-programmed commands, but for gaming it's completely fine because you can just remap your in-game commands to the thumb buttons. Moving to the right side, you get the same curved texture padding but with no additional buttons. For finger placement, my pinky and ring finger was always very comfortable with the curve and always had some grip. As for the front, left and right mouse buttons, they feature OMROM switches with a predicted lifespan of over 10 million clicks. The switches are snappy and relatively quiet as well. I never felt that there was a delay between pressing the button or the travel distance delay, where you would press the button down but it wouldn't activate yet. As for the scroll wheel, it is relatively light and also not too loud. It has a textured rubber grip and is illuminated on the sides, but nothing really different there for a scroll wheel. Just behind the scroll you get the lighting effect switch. This would usually be where you would find the DPI selection switch, but Cougar added a different place for that. As for the RGB lighting, it's not fully 16.8 million different colors, it's just 8 different colors. But all 8 of those colors do have a static effect, and then you can also get a breathing and color cycle effect along with all of those. It is also worth mentioning that all 3 of the lighting zones are fixed, so you can't have individually colored zones. Taking a look underneath the X3, you get 2 large glide paths that delivers an extremely smooth glide. You also get the PMW3310 optical sensor with a max DPI of 3200, an IPS of 130 and a max polling rate of 1000 Hz. But now this is where Cougar added the DPI switch slider actually, where you would have 4 different DPI levels ranging from 400 all the way to 3200. Along with the DPI slider, you also get the polling rate slider, which allows you to adjust the polling rate from 125 Hz to 1000 Hz. Taking a closer look at the PMW3310 sensor, I ran a few different tests to see how the X3 will perform. Firstly, I did a line draw test to see if the sensor would pull to any direction. For the vertical and horizontal line draw test, it didn't seem that the sensor pulled to any direction, but for the diagonally test, it did feel that it pulled a bit to the left, but I don't think it was really too much to do with the sensor and was more human error. But the 3310 sensor does experience sensor rollout when you would do a flick shot with an elevating starting point. It is needed to mention, but from my personal experience using the 3310 in game, I didn't really have any problems. It was only with this certain test that I did that I saw this problem. Then next up was the acceleration test, where Cougar did state that it does have a 1-to-1 tracking ratio, but I found when doing a quick 360 turn and then going back to the opposite way but at a much slower speed, I did find that the end and the start point was not exactly on the same spot. Now, it wasn't really that bad, but it is something that I needed to mention. As for the liftoff distance, it was extremely low, with only a single credit card fitting underneath it while still being able to track, which is about 3mm. As for sensor jump, it mostly stayed on a single spot, so if you do lift up your mouse quite a lot, you won't really have to worry about the sensor jumping around when putting down the mouse again. But now, something that I did notice when doing these tests is that when tapping the front of the mouse on the desk, it would sometimes accidentally trigger the left mouse button. Normally this wouldn't really be too big of an issue, but if you are aggressive with your mouse, you might accidentally experience this. Also, you don't need to tap it extremely hard, you can just slightly drop it and it would accidentally activate this. As for the cable, it is 1.8 meters or 5.9 feet long and is non-braided. Now, as for the software, the X3 does not need any because you can do almost everything on the mouse itself. Now, being mostly plastic, it does help to reduce weight, giving the X3 a total weight of only 94 grams, which is right on the sweet spot. As for the size of the X3, it has a length of 122mm, a width of 67mm, and a height of 40mm. I personally do have medium-sized hands, and I found that the X3 was extremely comfortable and fit my hands perfectly. As for grips, the X3 is perfect for all three styles, being a light and snappy for fingertip style grips, but also large enough for palm style grips. So in conclusion, for gaming, the X3 does perform quite well, being very comfortable and also having decent accuracy. Yes, the sensor is not perfect, but honestly for the price, it's really hard to complain about that. I really did have a blast using it for my game live streams and just for my everyday use. But now, as for some good and bad points about the X3, the good ones is it's nice and light with only weighing in at 94 grams, which is always handy personally for me. It's relatively cheap at only $25 or 350 Rand, and it also has cool RGB lighting. But now, unfortunately, as for the bad points, that was the front tapping. When you would tap it on the desk, it would accidentally activate the left click, and then also it wasn't really that big of an issue, but I found that the cable was a bit too stiff for my liking, and it did sometimes get in the way. When you would route it through something, it would get a bit stuck. But honestly, overall, the mouse is extremely well done, and Cougar made an excellent budget gaming mouse, and I would definitely recommend the Minos X3 for if you're looking for a budget mouse. It performs very well. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this review. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, comment like always. Also, if you want me to review anything else, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll try to get my hands on that product to do a review on. But anyway, that's pretty much it again. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will check all of you next time. Cheers, guys.